Hi everybody, my name is Sunshine. I'm going to show you our beginner traditional staff class. What we went over in staff was pretty much the basics of how a staff operates. We started by talking about planes. We have our wall plane, which exists in this space if we're facing a wall. I talked about being in a hallway where we're facing the wall and the wall is full of really delicate china that we don't want to break. So to stay in wall plane, we spin in front of the china. But if we start to bend our planes, like doing something like this, I'd end up breaking all of these shelves. So wall plane happens facing the wall. We talked about wheel plane, which is where you're tracing a giant wagon wheel on either side of your body. And we talked about floor plane, which is where you're parallel with the floor or with the ceiling. The first move that we learned was the figure 8, which is also known as the 2-beat. We started off doing the figure 8 in wheel plane. We did it forwards, leading with the thumb, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we did it backwards, leading with the pinky side of our hand, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What I'm counting is the beats. A beat is every time the wick passes your knee, shin, ankle area. That's called a beat. So when I'm counting 1, 2, 1, 2, I'm counting 2 beats on each side, which is why this is known as the 2-beat with a staff. So we went from doing this in wheel plane to doing this off to the side of our body in wall plane, and the way we did that transformation was we stood facing the wheel so that we were in wheel plane doing the 2-beat weave, and then we turned our body while continuing to move the staff in the same plane. So relative to our body, the staff went from wheel plane to wall plane. Once we learn this in both hands, in both directions, we learn the around the world, which is where you string all of it together. You do a 2-beat on one side, pass behind your body, 2 beats on the other side, and pass in front of you. It's just a whole bunch of 2 beats all stuck together. This works only if you know how to do the rotor, which can be done just hand over hand, real simple like this. Or you can make it more complicated by adding a thumb roll, which will allow you to do more spins. We didn't get to the thumb roll in class though. Any way you want to pass from hand to hand is fine. When you're passing behind your body, the pass should happen like this, where your thumbs are on top and your fingertips are pointing towards the ground. And then you pass to the other side and come back in front of you. So the around the world looks like this when it's complete. I told you how many beats were in the around the world. The way I do it, there are 9 beats. I'm going to face the lake so that you can see behind me, because 7 of the beats happen behind the body. 1, 2, 3, 4, this is where I pass. 5, 6, 7, and now that I'm extended on my wrist, I come back in front for 8, 9, which is where I pass, and then I'm back behind me for 1 again. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 and 9 happen in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're back behind to start again. After around the world, we worked on pinwheels. A pinwheel is basically an around the world, except instead of being in front of you for part of the time, it's behind your body the entire time. So you just simply rotate the staff as you lift your arm up. When you're up over your head, the pass happens like this with your thumbs facing backwards. So your thumbs are facing backwards when you pass over your head. Rotate down. Same pass as in around the world. Thumbs on top, fingertips down, and you continue to rotate. There's no specific number of beats that need to happen in a pinwheel, or for that matter, in anything. If it looks good, it is good. That's the general rule. But to break stuff down, sometimes it helps to know how many beats you need to do so that you can teach yourself the move. The only other thing that we talked about in traditional staff was contact staff 101, which I introduced very briefly. We talked about neck wraps, which is a little scary on fire, so learn it really well, not on fire. The neck wrap, you take your dominant hand, Your goal is to place the center line on your cervical spine, and you release with your dominant hand and catch with your non-dominant hand. We did that a few times. Practice it in the other direction. Non-dominant hand puts up, dominant hand receives. Practice it so that you can do it, because my non-dominant hand can't really do much. And then the only other thing that we talked about was palm spins, which is another contact move. And that's about it. With the palm spins, make sure that you're not hitting yourself in the face when you drop it, because this is my 9th pair of glasses from breaking it exactly that way. Thank you. Again, my name is Sunshine. If you need fire tools, sunshinefireentertainment.com/firetoys.